Welcome, everybody. Good to have you here this morning. I have a wonderful service planned for you all.
You always do.
Hey, Barbara. Hi.
Okay, we should be good.
Elaine and John.
Hi. Hi, Kathleen.
Morning, Elizabeth. Nancy. Hi, Lori.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Bonnie.
Lori.
And a quiet time for all of us for a moment now.
Bonnie. Now there it is.
There we go.
They muted everybody now.
Music is the language of the spirit. It opens the secret of life, bringing peace, abolishing strife. Khalil Gibran.
Music has infinite power to reach the gap between the heart and the soul to create infinite and ineffable joy. Debussy Mrida.
A small thing, but in a dissonant world, every moment of harmony counts. And if we share music, we might just shout in anger a little less and sing in unity more, or so we can hope. John Meacham.
My heart, which is so full to overflowing, has often been solaced and refreshed by music when sick and weary. Martin Luther.
So long as the human spirit thrives on this planet, music in some living form will accompany and sustain it. Aaron.
I filled with it. Of course, I turned it off.
Music. Music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. Plato.
There is nothing in the world so much like prayer as music is. William Merrill.
Music is enough for a lifetime, but a lifetime is not enough for music. Sergei Rachmaninoff. As we celebrate the power of music in our lives, come, let us worship together in gratitude for this gift which moves our spirits. We acknowledge that the land we gather on as a congregation, where we live, work, and play, was not freely given to us. We are gathered on the ancestral land of the Nuchu, or Ute, Apache, the Pueblos, Hopi, Zuni, and Dene Nation. This is also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for other native tribes. We recognize the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land. As these words are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their ancestral homelands are renewed and reaffirmed. We acknowledge that our use of and benefit from this land came at a dire cost to native nations and peoples whose land we now inhabit. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Durango and our online worship service. I'm Bonnie Miller, a member of UUFD and today's volunteer host for the Sunday service. So as we wave from our cars in greeting to each other while enjoying the luminarias at our church on Christmas Eve, and as we greeted each other over our digital devices this morning, we deeply feel our yearning to be close to each other and long for the time when we can gather again freely and safely. It's been a long haul, and we know that there is a light at the end of this tunnel, but we have so many days yet to brave the challenge of separation. So we're grateful for all those things which still exist to lift our spirits: phone calls and notes, Zoom chats, music, art, and yes, Zoom worship services. We covenant to be here for each other. As described by UUA, our national organization, our covenant is the silk that joins us together in a web of interconnection. The practice of promising to walk together, no matter the circumstances, is the precious core of our creedless faith. Joining me in leading today's worship service are Tim Miller as worship associate, John Schiffel and Dennis McClure, our tech support, and Shannon Beaver and Cheryl Guy, our greeters. John and Aline Schwob are our chalice lighters. Marilyn Garst, our classical pianist, is also in the pulpit today doing the homily. And we are honored that Lauren Avery, concertmaster with the San Juan Symphony, is joining Marilyn for 2 special musical pieces today. Concluding our service, our choir director, Elizabeth Crawford, will join them in a beautiful and well-loved hymn. So if you're not currently a member of UUFD, welcome to our worship. We're so glad you're joining us today. And a special greeting to members of the congregation from Huntsville, Alabama, who are joining us today in our service. We're so glad that you're able to be part of this Sunday gathering. If you're looking for a spiritual home, or if you've been thinking about membership, you can type a message in the chat line to Shannon. She's our Community Connections Coordinator. And if you sign our digital guest book, which you'll see in the chat line, we'll put you on our list to receive our weekly announcements and our monthly newsletter.
All right. As Aline and John Schwob prepare to light our chalice, we encourage others in our congregation to sign up to light the chalice in one of our future services. Look in the chat line for a sign up link. Proceed to light the chalice. All right. Also in chat, Shannon's posting words to our affirmation. You're invited to unmute yourself and join me in reciting these words in a minute. If everyone speaking the affirmation in unison is a little too much noise for you, you feel free to turn down the volume. You can also stay unmuted and still recite the affirmation. Love
is the doctrine of this church.
the
Quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace,
to seek
knowledge
knowledge and wisdom,
to
serve human needs. For these high purposes,
we unite
worship.
worship.
And for everyone who would like to keep your mics open or open them up now, this is a time when we encourage you to greet each other and share a word of peace for this morning.
Good
Hi,
morning.
everybody.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
From Alabama.
Of Alabama.
See everybody.
Thank you, Secret Santa.
Yeah.
To our Secret Santa, too.
Carol.
Thank you, everyone. I sure look forward to when we're doing that together in the sanctuary. So each Sunday, we hold sacred a time when we can share those things most deeply stirring in our hearts, whether a great joy or a painful sorrow. If you have a joy or sorrow to share today, you can ask for a candle to be lit by typing your name in the chat box to everybody to let us know you have something to share. Tim will call on you, then unmute yourself and share your joy or sorrow. And we ask that everybody holds off on other chats during this time so it's easier for Tim to see who wants to speak. And if you don't already have your device set to the speaker view, you may want to make that switch up at the little corner where you see those little dots so that you can more easily see who is sharing today.
All right. Originally, Kathy Fisher had a concern that she had put in the chat earlier. If she would like to unmute and share, that would be fine now.
Both my daughter and son-in-law have had COVID for about 3 weeks. He's more on the upswing than she is, and I'm holding them in my heart. Thank you.
And so we light this candle.
Next is Robert W.
I'd like to thank a number of people, Sherrod, Werner, Allison and Karsten, Jack and Sue, John and Susan for food and caring and support these last few days. I appreciate it and thank you all very much.
And we light this candle.
Nancy F., is this about the pink slippers or something else?
It's something else. I am.
Okay, select the microphone. Select this.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I am so grateful. We have a robust solar array on our roof and we're making electricity.
And so we light this candle.
Judith S.
Oh, here I am. Okay. Well, I'm so grateful because my daughter is celebrating her 26th birthday tomorrow, and I'm so glad we're all together for that. And the other thing is, I guess I have two, is this approaching snowstorm. May it bring us feet of snow.
And we light this candle.
Crystal, you're next. Please unmute. I'm not seeing Crystal yet.
Hi, guys. Merry Christmas. I just want to say, Joy, that my parents got to come down and I haven't seen them since June. So happy to share the holidays.
And so we light this candle.
Let's see, are there any other? I think that may be it. Well, I have a joy just as we celebrate music this service. I think it's a joy that we have our classical pianist, Marilyn Garst, today, but also our choir director, our contemporary pianist, guest musicians, and our audio engineers also who help us, the choir survive during Zoom time.
And so we light this candle.
And I see Jory has something.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, I have some like sadness in my heart. So a prayer of healing for my ex-partner who's just having a hard time with our breakup. And yeah, I think is feeling lonely and doesn't feel like he can connect with me. And I'm just trying to send him love. So send love to Matt. Thank you.
And we light this candle.
Anyone else have a joy or concern to share?
In this circle of care and compassion, we hold those who have shared their joys with us, for each shared joy is a form of nourishment for all of us. And in the circle of care and compassion, we faithfully witness those who have shared their sorrows with us, for each shared sorrow touches our hearts, and we accept the call to lighten the burden of our friend. As we go on with our week, we hold those who have been named in our thoughts and our prayers. And we light one last candle for all those things which may be too tender to share aloud, but are held in silence in our hearts. Our meditation words come from UU Joel Tishkin. The ancient Greek philosopher Pythagoras taught that the universe was composed entirely of numbers, and numbers corresponded to music. So the entire universe, all of reality, including us, was composed of numbers and music. The 7 planets of the ancient world each resonated a frequency outward into the universe. Their music was not something we heard audibly, but their cosmic vibration, their resonance, could impact us as all music could. Pythagoreans believed that music purified and nourished our souls, keeping us spiritually healthy in the same way exercise and nutrition does for our body. I invite you to contemplate, what music do you need to purify or nourish your soul right now? Do you need a peppy tune to make you smile and dance? Perhaps you need a love ballad to help you celebrate a love in your life. Or do you need a sad song to speak to you about a loss in your life? Maybe you need a dirge to help you grieve and mourn a tragedy or a loss. Or do you need a happy song to help you celebrate an aspect of your life? Do you need a cacophony of noise to rattle you into a new awareness? Perhaps you need a calm lullaby to bring you peace and serenity. As we enter into silence, I invite you to consider the music that is speaking to you at this moment. Imagine it is resonating within you, but also outward in all directions, bringing your resonance to those near to you and far, connecting you with everyone else, communicating where you are today. May our collective silence bring harmony to ourselves and everyone in our orbit.
Well, that was beautiful. A number of people in the chat echoed those remarks. Thank you both to Marilyn and Lauren. For story time today, how many of you have ever played an instrument, been in a band or choir, sung in the shower or while dancing with friends, or even simply appreciated listening to music? Is every single person's hand up by now? Okay, I hope so. Like our pulpit guest, our congregation's classical pianist, Marilyn Garst, my brother, who was born with the name Rick Miller, but later changed it to a stage name, Parthenon Huxley, it's a long story, has worked in music his whole life, writing, performing, teaching. He's made a career out of it. Music is a language in itself. It can communicate sadness and loneliness, joy and triumph, sometimes all within the same piece. The story this morning is called Music is for Everyone.
Today's book is called Music is for Everyone, written by Jill Barber and illustrated by Sydney Smith. Music is for everyone. There are so many ways to join in the fun. We can clap our hands or stomp our feet. We can sing out loud or move to the beat. We can play classical in a symphony with a big trombone or a timpani. We can sing a lullaby as soft as a pedal or shout out loud like it's heavy metal. We can bring out the sun on a rainy day with some mellow beats and a little reggae. We can pluck on the piano or strum the guitar. We can pretend we're up on stage like a big pop star. We can sing old standards like a real jazz cat. We can make up silly words. They call that scat. Bibbidi bop bop a doo doo bang. We can play the drums, we can make a racket. But if you're in a marching band, don't forget your jacket. We can speak in rhyme and sing hip hop, or have a mighty fine time playing old bebop. We can chant special prayers around a big campfire, or sing sweet harmonies as part of a choir. We can pick up the banjo with an old country twang, or move to the groove aboard the soul music train. We can tell a good story in a sweet folk song, teach everyone the chorus, or have a big sing-along. We can sing an operetta with a big booming voice, or hum a quiet little tune. It's your choice. It's fun to explore every kind of way that we can make music together. So let's sing and play. The end.
All right. Children are now invited to join faith formation activities. The link is in the chat. Thank you.
First of all, I wish to thank Reverend Katie for inviting me to be the pulpit guest for celebrating classical music. I also wish to thank Lauren Avery, the concertmaster of the San Juan Symphony, for joining me in 2 pieces for violin and piano. From the time I was a baby, and perhaps even before, I was surrounded by classical music. My parents had a large collection of classical recordings, and both had studied music. My mother was a trained soprano, and my father played the organ and the piano. On many Saturdays, the radio was tuned to the Metropolitan Opera broadcasts. One of the favorite childhood memories from my younger sister Bonnie and me was listening to my parents perform together after we went to bed. I guess it should be no surprise that Bonnie and I both became professional musicians, she on the cello and me on the piano. I began studying piano seriously at age 8 with the best teacher in our county in California. At about age 10, I decided that I wanted to be a concert pianist. After studying with the same teacher for 10 years, I entered the University of Southern California as a piano major. I quickly realized that the competition was fierce for becoming a performing concert pianist. Thus, I revised my goal to college teaching, which would allow me to impart my skills and knowledge to others and also to perform. My performance preferences settled on performing as a soloist and as a chamber musician in small ensembles. The longest lasting of those was with my sister, Bonnie. We formed a professional cello-piano duo in the early 1980s and performed recitals together off and on until last year, a very rewarding part of our lives. Our last public recital took place at this church on November 22nd, 2019, and it turned out to be one of our best ever. Over the centuries, many have written about the meaning of music. One of my university courses was about the aesthetics of music, and one requirement was to read a book entitled A Theology of Music, written by Alfred Pike in 1953. Though I found many of his statements quite subjective, some of his writing did resonate with me. Pike described classical music as a manifestation of the spiritual in time. Music is symbolic and points to a meaning beyond itself and beyond words. I certainly have experienced the latter, for example, when listening to J.S. Bach's Passions and Sacred Cantatas. As a Unitarian Universalist, I do not relate closely to the texts in those works, since Bach was a devoted Lutheran, but the music itself is deeply spiritual for me. My sister published a book in 2016 entitled Journey into the Heart of Music. At the beginning of the book, she wrote the following that is entirely in line with my beliefs. Music is a language, a virtually unlimited one. Perhaps it is even the ultimate language. As with all languages, it is a tool for communication. Though written and spoken language can be beautiful poetry, communicating more than the words alone, music conveys great passion, emotion, attitudes, qualities, and that which is beyond words. Most recently, I especially appreciated what Thomas Heuser, the music director of the San Juan Symphony, wrote at the beginning of his program notes for the virtual symphony concert last month. The first two sentences are as follows. Music has the power to evoke the entire range of human emotions, from love to despair and everything in between. Perhaps no other art form has the ability to send shivers down your spine. And it is precisely because of that visceral reaction that many of us have devoted our lives to the performing arts. When I wrote my story of my spiritual evolution for this church 10 years ago, I spoke about music in the last paragraph, stating the following with a bit of current editing. When I am listening to certain pieces of music or performing at my best, I feel a deep spiritual connection to the composer and hope that I am communicating something meaningful to my listeners while I'm performing. Friends in this congregation have told me that my music has helped them feel and deal with grief over the loss of a loved one, or that my music has brought tears to their eyes. That kind of feedback makes all the study and practicing of a piece of music so worthwhile. I will conclude this presentation with a performance of a quintessential nocturne by Chopin. I especially love this piece because it represents such a wide range of emotional, psychological states. The two outer sections exhibit expressive, lyrical melodies, while the middle section is very dramatic and passionate. Before I go to the piano, I wish to conclude my talk by reading a quote from a poem by Anthony Hunt, a friend of Ron's since 1963 when they were together in the Peace Corps. The title is Where Music Lives, written in 2008 and revised in 2014. This is the segment from the poem. And so I listen to the dancing strings in mystery, that long pull of the cello's bow, the silence that comes afterwards, the harmony blown softly from the lungs that takes my breath away, the rhythm of the beating drum, or is that the cadence of my life I hear? These profound sounds that lift and sway me so, such stunning melodies that stir my day.
Thank you, Marilyn. You are a gift. Offertory words this morning are from Kristen Collins. We give to remind ourselves how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and sacred space. We give with the faith that together we have enough. There are 3 ways you can donate to our Sunday collection, instructions for which Shannon has put up in the chat. You can mail a check to the church, 419 San Juan Drive, Durango, Colorado, 81301. You can contribute through our website by following the donate button and the prompts, or you can donate via text by typing in the toll-free number into the to field and then entering the dollar amount into the message field, say 10 or 20 or whatever, and hit send. First-time text donors will be prompted to enter some other profile information, which you can do if you just put your phone down. You can do it after the service. But the morning offering will be gratefully received.
cradled in a manger, and a bed of hay. In the bleak midwinter, stable place sufficed. Mary and her baby, Jesus Christ. Once more child and mother weave their magic spell, touching hearts with wonder, words can never tell. In the bleak midwinter, in this world of pain, where our hearts are open, love is born again.
I'm certain I'm not the only one whose spirit was moved today by this extraordinary music. Just know that we do record our service, and so within a day or so, a recording can be watched by just clicking on our website. So I encourage you to treat yourself to another round of listening to the lovely music you've heard today. As we prepare to close our service today with the extinguishing of the chalice, the benediction, and recessional music, everybody's invited to join our small breakout rooms for conversation just afterwards. Maybe you want to share in your group what role music has played in your life, what importance it's had. A small thing, but in a dissonant world, every moment of harmony counts. And if we share music, we might just shout in anger a little less and sing in unity more, or so we can hope. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be.